Hi there, students. My name is Mary Kelly, and I am working on a project with some of my colleagues and some of my students. And we are inviting young people aged between 14 and 18 to work with us to develop some online story maps about climate change. And essentially, story maps are an online platform for creating spatial stories using images, texts, and maps. These are some examples of the ones that we have produced already. And to give you a better idea of how a story map looks, this is an example of one that we created as a team. And essentially what we did was to write a poem about climate change, which you can see on the left-hand side of your screen here. And we wanted to use the poem as a way to think about and express our feelings about the issues that we feel are most important in terms of thinking about this issue. So from once we produced our poem, we then worked with the platform to add images and data and maps to provide our audience with a better understanding of the science behind the issues that concern us. So here is our map, and I will read it for you and run through the slides that we have used to illustrate our points. So, polar ice caps melting. Sea level rising, oceans warming, temperature increasing, storms raging, fields flooding, harvests ruined, droughts. But people still have doubts. Young people need to shout, to act through words and songs and stories. We need to act, to map the facts, for change, for climate change. So going back to our poem and our illustrations that we have used to provide our audience with some information about the impacts of climate change and some information about the issues that we are concerned about, here we have an illustration of an ice cap melting, a glacier melting, and we've also provided the reader with some information about the rates at which this is happening. And in addition to this image, we've also produced a satellite image of the changes in the ice sheet, in the Arctic ice sheet between 1973 and 2020. So if we move our arrow to the left, we can see how it is in 2020, how it is currently. And if we move our arrow to the right, we can see the extent of the ice cap in 1973. So this gives us a really good idea, a really good sense of the extent to which these ice caps are contracting. So that's to go with our first line about ice caps and our concern about those issues. Our second map, our second illustration is a map which documents sea level change. So here on this map, we can see places where sea level is increasing, and we can also see places where sea level is decreasing. And we can use the map to illustrate or to explore places more particularly and the extent to which they're affected by these issues. This is an example of Poti in Georgia. And we can see there that the sea level change is 6.68 millimeters per year. And we can proceed then to calculate what that would be per century. So when preparing our story maps and our poems to document our concerns, we have added some information about the ways in which these issues unfold unevenly in different places, and we want to encourage people to engage with the climate science that lies behind the issues. So we want to encourage students to explore our story maps, and then to think about ways in which you might produce your own story maps to document the things that you are concerned about. So thank you for listening to our short presentation. Our objectives here were to encourage you to document your feelings on concerns about or activities relating to climate change. And we'd like to invite you to come and to meet with us so that we can help you produce story maps and provide you with some guidance on how to do those. And we also have developed some online resources that you can use yourselves in the classroom with your classmates and with your teacher. And this project is part of a larger project funded by the Arts and Humanities Research Council, which is to engage or aims to engage young people with climate research. That's what we're aiming to do here. And the initiative has been developed to coincide with the upcoming United Nations Conference on Climate Change. So if you would like any further information, or you would like to meet with us, or for us to meet with you so that we could work together on making some creative approaches to climate change and making story maps, we would be delighted to hear from you.